For most people, making sourdough bread at home is initially a frustrating experience. You find a recipe on the internet, you try to follow it, but your bread simply doesn't turn out the way you wanted it to. And that's the reason why I wrote the Sourdough Framework. It's a deep dive on advanced bread making techniques that will equip you with tools that you need to master making bread at home. So let's have a quick look at the content of the book and what you'll be able to expect. Firstly, the whole book starts with the history of sourdough and how sourdough has influenced us as humans. Then there's a deep dive on how sourdough works. You'll be understanding the different enzymes and their role in bread making. The next chapter is about teaching you how to make a sourdough starter in a way that it actually works. And everything is beautifully illustrated to make it very, very easy to understand. Furthermore, the book utilizes a lot of flowcharts that make understanding complicated processes a lot more easy. A topic often misunderstood is sourdough maintenance, so there's also a section on better understanding how to properly conduct maintenance for your sourdough starter. The book also provides a couple of schedules that help you to make sourdough baking fit with your busy life. The next chapter, which is one of my favorite chapters, looks at different sourdough starter types and their role in baking. Different sourdough starter types will provide you with different style of breads. They will change the flavor of your bread. Understanding this is a key to mastering sourdough bread at home. The basis for making bread is using the right flour to make bread. This is something many beginner bakers often do wrong. You need to have the right flour in order to make great bread. And this is what the next chapter is looking at, explaining you exactly what characteristics to look out for when shopping flour. The next chapter looks at different bread types and how you have to make these breads. Now, making a flat bread or a loaf pan bread is way easier than making a freestanding loaf. And because of that reason, the next chapter, Wheat Sourdough, looks in detail at all the steps required to make amazing wheat sourdough bread at home. There is a deep dive on the process and everything you need to know and look out for from start to finish. Especially the chapter on dough strength will save you a lot of time and make you a better baker. Many people either knead the dough too little or too much. By understanding how much exactly you have to knead the dough, you'll be saving yourself a lot of headache and time. Another topic often overlooked is the topic of stretching and folding your dough. This book deep dives on the topic and teaches you exactly when you have to stretch and fold your dough. Now, the hardest part when making sourdough bread is to understand when exactly your fermentation is done. And that's what this book deep dives on. It shows you exactly how to better understand the bulk fermentation and the proofing stage of the dough. The next chapter shows you how to make non-wheat sourdough, which too long didn't read is way easier. We Germans like this kind of bread. It's not as airy, but still it only takes around 5 minutes to make such a loaf. The flavor is superb. This is, by the way, my go-to recipe that I'm making every week. Now, the next chapter looks at baking. Many people spend a lot of money buying expensive tools, but you don't have to do that. That's what I'm teaching you in this book. I'm teaching you exactly how to use your own home oven to get the perfect setup for bread making. After making your bread, and it probably turned out super delicious, the book covers several different options on storing your bread. And chances are on your first loaf, it might not have turned out exactly the way that you wanted it to. That's why this book has a very long troubleshooting section that you can have a look at with common problems and their respective fixes. Everything is beautifully illustrated, making it very easy to understand and provide you with hints that help you to debug your bread properly. Ultimately, the book wraps up with providing you a bonus chapter on how to be adding different mix-ins to your dough. Now, you can also read my full book for free on the-sourdough-framework.com. But if you want to support me on my mission to democratize baking and enabling everyone around the world to make delicious bread, please consider getting yourself a copy of my book. It's a beautifully designed 250-page long book that will help you to understand all the tiny but important details of every step throughout the bread making process.